And what happens if it succeeds, and of course what happens if it doesn't?
If it doesn't succeed, there's no plan B. Plan A is plan B. We expect this to be approved. We've gone through everything we possibly can go through. The structure is much different than what exists in MLS and USL. It's another alternative to clubs in this country to play professional soccer. We just think that unless there's some compelling reason why it shouldn't be, we anticipate that it would be approved, going forward as a Division III, professional league.
And currently, how many clubs are involved?
Right now, we have a minimum. To submit an application. We have a minimum of 8 clubs which we have submitted. We did that in August. We then finished up the documentation as of this week for those 8, and we have 6 clubs in the wings ready to join once sanctioning has been achieved.
Can you give me some idea of the geographical division of those 14 teams?
Southeast, Mid-Central East Coast, New England Northeast Coast, Southern California, and depending upon what happens with sanctioning, we'll probably have 3 from the Midwest.
So how many will be on the West Coast?
Right now there's 2. There were two in the waiting, and so that'll be 4 on the West Coast.
4 altogether. So the D3 sanctioning is obviously very important, and you said that there's no plan B. But one of the things that characterizes this league is the lack of an expansion fee. And I saw that in a previous interview you said that should help the clubs give more to building their stadium and so on. What are the minimum basic requirements to be in this league?
The reason that Peter Wilt and Jack Cummings, when they built this, they wanted to make it a little bit more democratic and easier for clubs to survive, if you will. And when I say survivability, it's very important. And if you, in quoting Sunil Gulati in one of my first meetings with him with the NESL a couple of years ago, he said if you were to drain the swamp, you'd see all the wreckage on the bottom of the ocean. And the wreckage on the bottom of the ocean will fail clubs. So when we take a look at it, is why is that so? From the standpoint that when you really take a look at what's happening with the clubs in the smaller city clubs that are around, they're undercapitalized to the degree that you can't compete for an MLS franchise. And when you look at USL, and no difference to USL, they're a fine outfit and they do good work, is that they're getting in costs of about $7 million to get into the USL these days. Well, with NISA, it's $100,000 annual membership. And that annual membership means that, and that allows you the operating money that you would put into a franchise, whether it be MLS or whether it's, MLS is even the consideration here because they're into a game of their own. But at the Division II, Division III level of USL, that $1 or $7 million, whatever you're paying for that franchise, that money can be used as operating funds to go into your club, to enhance the value of your club, to sustain the club at the local level. And that's one of the ideas that Peter and Jack Cummings came up with when they designed the NISA project. So that means that getting in then, the annual fee would be $100,000. The owners, the people who are involved in the leagues, they will be the ones who own the league, if you will. Very much like the old NASL model where the owners own the league and going forward. So the franchise fee, there is no franchise fee, so it's an annual membership. So that gives the ability to have, and there are no geographical restrictions, so you don't own a franchise area. Like if you're going to have a Carl's Juniors, that you'd have a radius around your location that would protect you from that. Within NISA, there is no geographic restriction, which is somewhat like if you look at the EPL. Look at countries, in the UK in particular. We've got Everton down the street from Liverpool, right? Could have been a joint stadium, but the fans wanted their own facilities. So looking at NISA, we looked at it and said, this is a free enterprise model, and if clubs wanted to be able to build their franchise near their build their club in their own area, they could, but 10 miles down the road, they might have another club that would start up. And it become then a friendly competition, then a more developed competition. So it's a much different model than what currently exists with USL and or MLS.